Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. So today I am going to do some family history research and I'm going to take you along with me. I am using the Genealogy Research Workbook. This is a workbook that I wrote and compiled. The link for this will be down below. But we are going to start researching not a new ancestor, but doing some research I haven't done on an ancestor that I know a little bit about. That's what we're going to start doing, and trying to build a new ancestor line for this person. So let's get started. I have my iPad here where I'm logged on to Ancestry.com, and I have my research workbook. This research workbook really does take you through the steps of researching your family history. For me, I am going to start with preparation. So I am using the soft cover version. This workbook is available as a hardcover as well. And the first step in preparing to research is to kind of write down what you already know. So it's the family reflection. So I'm going to sit the iPad to the side for now because this is one of the first lessons. Oh, let me fix the focus. This is one of the first lessons of research. Don't just jump online, you guys, and have no idea what you're looking for. Take at least 5 or 10 minutes. You don't have to take 2 weeks or 2 months. Just take 10 minutes and write down what you already know and what you're trying to find before you dive into Ancestry or any other research platform that you're going to use. So that's what we're going to do first. So this is the family reflection. I don't know a ton about this person, but I'm going to write down what I know. This workbook has guided questions to help you go through that process. So what do I know? I know that I am looking for a Jim Walker. He is my maternal grandfather. Died when my mom was young. He was born in Alabama. Okay, so I don't really know his birth date. I know a little bit more information, but to answer that question, that's what I'm going to put here. Any stories to confirm? My mom talks a lot about him being employed by another Walker family. So I'm going to put that down. Oldest known ancestors. He was actually pretty old, so I'm just going to put his name right here. Who can you talk to? Honestly, the only person still living that I can talk to about this would be my mother. Mysteries to solve. She's always wondered what brought him to the area where she grew up. I don't know if we'll be able to find that, but she is interested in what prompted his migration. Places to investigate. I know that he was born in a county called Chambers County, Alabama, and he lived in Shelby County, Alabama. Oldest living relatives, that is my mom. Important family events. I know that he married my maternal grandmother. I don't know the exact date they got married, but it was their second marriage. Both of their second marriages. So it was probably in the 1940s, I would say. Okay, so I just took that time, guys, to write down what I know about this particular person. You see, it didn't take long. I did that real time. I didn't speed it up. It was what, 2 or 3 minutes. And I'm going to start looking for this person to try and build out their family group sheet. So using my genealogy workbook, I've done a little bit of preparation. I'm not going to fill in my goals on this video because I do that separately. I might do a video showing that. But I'm going to jump ahead to the research section, and I'm going to start building the ancestor line for this person. So one of the family surnames I know is going to be Walker. I'm not going to start writing in the middle because I might come up with more surnames for this line. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and put Walker right here. I have filled out the ancestor line reflection for this person in the front of the book, so I'm not going to fill it out again here. I might use this for another ancestor in this line. And then I do have some interview prompts that I need to fill in from my mom, so I will do that off camera. And I have space to do interview notes as well. But what I do want to start working on is building out this family group sheet for Jim Walker. I don't know much about him. I don't know his birth year, and I don't really know his official death date. So this is where we're going to go to Ancestry. Now, in my worksheet, my goal is to get as much of this information filled out as possible and then track this family through the census years to see if I can track them and build out a family tree. That is my goal. So what I'm going to do is get my Ancestry set up so that I can start looking for Jim Walker. If I can figure out how to do the editing, I will put a screenshot of my Ancestry search somewhere on the screen, or either I'll reverse the screens so that I am in a little bitty window and the screenshot is big. We'll see how that works. But give me just a minute and I will get Ancestry set up for us. Where that's coming from. That's okay. Let's go ahead and get started. So I'm on Ancestry and I'm just on the home page here. I am going to start looking for Jim Walker in 1950 because I know that he was living in 1950. My mom was born right around that time, and my mom is adopted, but you know, he was living because, you know, he raised her. So I am just going to type in his name because I don't know that much about him. I don't know the birth year, so I'm not going to put a specific birth year. I do know where he should have been living, at least county-wise, in 1950. So that's really all I'm going to put, and I'm going to go ahead and do well, I'm going to select exact for his last name, and then also choose sounds like, right? If I didn't put something as exact, I'd probably get way too many entries, especially with a generic name like Jim Walker. But I'm going to go ahead and search. I do know my maternal grandmother's name was Ethel Lou, so I could use that information to kind of weed through these 24,000 results. As you can see, I'm not going to have to go through all of these because Ethel Lou comes right up at the top as a relative. So this is probably my ancestor. And then when I look in the summary screen and I see the home in 1950 is Saginaw, Siluria in Shelby County, Alabama, I do know that that is the area they lived in. So this is more than likely them. From this preview screen, you can actually click, or not click, but if you kind of scroll over the record, view record, you'll see a preview of the record, and you can get some critical information without opening it. Things like birth date, age. You can scroll down and see who's living in his household. So this is definitely my grandfather. And I am going to use that information that I see right here on the preview and fill in some of his vital information on my family group sheet. I see that he was born around 1896. I don't know the place as of yet other than Alabama, but I do know that he was born in Alabama. I don't have any information about the year of his death right now, or when he married my grandmother. I do know that his current wife in 1950 is Ethel Lou, who is the lady I know as my grandmother. So this is my grandfather. Now I am going to choose view the image so that I can see the actual census record. So now I am looking at the actual census record. And I can zoom in and I can find him on the record. And this is an image of the actual record as it was taken. I'm just moving this over because that light is getting on my nerves. This is an image of the actual census record as it was taken. So I can see that Jim Walker, Ethel Lou is his wife. She is 33 at this time. Arthur Jones is their son. He's actually listed as a stepson because remember, this is both of their second marriages, or I don't know if it's their second, but this was not their first marriage. And I do know Arthur Jones, and it just gives some information about where he worked. So I am not going to put Ethel Lou's birth date down right now, even though it's indicating a birth date here, because it gives me her age. I'm going to keep doing research before filling that in. But I am going to go ahead and put down as one of their children in this area, Arthur Jones. Arthur Jones Jr., he is male, and I am going to put his birth year. This is 1950, so if he's 17, that's about 1933. So I am going to check the record and see if they have a specific year listed, because I don't have his month. So we'll see. So let's go back. And I'm looking at the original list. This time I'm going to view the record. The record is transcribed information, but it doesn't show you the original image. You can click on the original image here and see the original image again, but the record is transcribed information. So we have clicked on the wrong person. Let me zoom in so I can make sure I'm clicking on the right person. Here we go. Okay, so we have Ethel Lou. She is 33, listed as the wife, and we have Arthur Jones, the stepson. So I have him being born about 1933. And so I am going to go ahead and put Ethel Walker. This is 1950, so if she's 33, that means she was born 30 years ago in 1920, and then minus 3, so about 1917. And she was born in Alabama as well. And so was Arthur Jones. Okay, so I am going to pause here. As you can see, I am starting to build his family in this family group sheet. A couple of things that I want to say about dates. Keep in mind that this is census information. What that means is somebody went to their home, asked them some questions, and they gave the answers to the best of their ability. Now, you would assume that people know that they know their birth date, but you have to keep in mind the time period that we're talking. Jim Walker would have been born in 1896. He probably did not have a birth record. So I'm not saying he gave the wrong date. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is don't get so stuck on a specific date. We may find him in the 1940 census and it says his birth year is 1897 or 1898 or 1894. Don't be surprised if you see that. That happens. That's all I'm trying to say. Same thing with Ethel Lou. So take all of that stuff with a grain of salt. I would say when it comes to things like birth dates, the closer you get to that person's birth, the more accurate the birth date is. In other words, if he says he was born in 1896 and you find him in the 1900 census and the 1900 census lists him as like 3 or 4 years old, that's probably going to be more accurate than asking somebody in 1950. You see what I mean? So just don't get stuck on that. Don't be like, oh my God, this is not Jim Walker in 1940 because he was born in 1897 and that doesn't match 1950. If you're going to do that, you're never going to find your ancestors. So be a little bit more relaxed, be a little bit less rigid than that, because census information can differ from census to census. All right, so that being said, I just want to take a peek at some of the records over to the right. One of the good things about Ancestry is that once you find your ancestor and you open up the record view, you get all these suggested records over to the right. And you can click on these records to see if that relates to your ancestor. So I am actually seeing a lot of suggested records here. I'm not going to click through all of them on this video, but I am going to click on the Alabama deaths and burials for Jim Henry Walker and see if we get any information. And we do. And I see where this information is, it lines up with what we know about Jim Henry Walker. His wife is Ethel Lou. My grandmother, he died in 1967. That matches with what my mother was saying because she would have been about 15 or 16 at that time. And so I'm going to go ahead and put that death information here. So we have December 17th, 67, and he died in Alabaster, Alabama. Okay, so if I look over here again, I am going to check now the marriage records to see if there is a marriage record for Jim Walker and Ethel Lou, knowing that he was married before, so this could be for someone else, but we're gonna look and see. What I'm seeing here is that he has a marriage record for Annie Marshall. I do know that that was his first wife, so I am going to put in the notes that he married Annie Marshall in Chambers County in 1916. Okay, so we have another one. This is probably Annie Marshall as well, because a lot of times they list it twice. So I'm not seeing the marriage information for Ethel Lou. I'll have to do some more digging to see that date. Let's see what we have if we look at Jim Walker in the 1940 census. So 1940 census, we have a Jim Walker. He is married to a Minnie Walker at this time. The year The birth year looks similar. They're living in a different county. I am not sure if this is him. So I'm not going to write anything down. That could be him, but I'm not sure if that's him because I am not familiar with his first wife at all. I know he did have children with his first wife, and I believe that is his family, but I'm going to have to talk to my mom to confirm that because it's not registering with me. Doesn't mean it's not the person. It just means I'm going to have to do some follow-up with my mom. And just for the sake of this video, I'm also going to go ahead and click on the 1930 census. So this person is in Shelby, Alabama, and they are living with Annie Walker, who we know Jim Walker married Annie Marshall. Birth year is similar. Notice though is 1894. So you see what I mean? This is what I mean about don't get so stuck on the birth year, you guys. This is clearly him. Jimmy Walker is his daughter. And I do know that that is his daughter. That is someone my mother has talked about a lot. So I do know that that is his daughter. I am going to put her down as his daughter. This is 1930, so she would have been born in 1919 in Alabama. Okay. So that's additional family information. I have the first wife under notes. I do have Jimmy Walker as his daughter born in 1919. So I think for now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and pause. And in this particular video right here, and we will continue this search in later videos. But what I will just say to you is, as you start your family group sheet, keep in mind the tips for researching, guys. Be open-minded, be sensitive to the information that you're finding, but above anything else, be open-minded. Don't assume that you know what you're going to find. And always try to confirm information that you are not sure of. So for example, I'm not sure if that was him in 1940. I need to speak to my mom and see if she recognizes any of those names. So before saying, oh yeah, he was with a woman named Minnie and we don't know who that woman is, then I need to find out who Minnie is and if my mom recognizes her, and then if I need to do more digging or research. So I'm not just assuming that that's him. I'm pausing and going ahead and digging a little bit deeper. That is really, really, really important because you want to be as accurate as possible when you're building your family history. Yeah, that's all that I will leave you with today. I hope you enjoyed this video. We are going to continue this series as I bring you along researching with me and working through my genealogy workbook. If you're interested in getting this workbook and using it for your own research, it is linked down below. It is available on Amazon. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good day.